Hello, I'm Sandy Dumont, the image architect. I've been teaching people to become image consultants for 25 years. Let's talk color today, because color is the cornerstone of my business and the most important thing that you need to learn deeply, thoroughly, if you want to become a good image consultant. In particular, I want to address the Munsell color system, which is touted as very important in terms of image consulting. I disagree. The Munsell system is a system of color identification, and it has actually been superseded. Now, I'm going to give you the latest technical information that I learned in a course I took with the Pantone Color Institute, the #1 recognized commercial firm that deals with color identification. So you can't just call up and say, I want red, orange as my computer cover. You have to know the precise red, orange that you want, and they help you do that. Every color that's been identified, millions of them, has a number that corresponds with it. So the Munsell system of color identification has nothing to do with color analysis, has been superseded by the CMC method of color tolerance. Now, color tolerance is the term used by Richard Hunter, a researcher at the National Bureau of Standards in the United States. Color tolerance is when a color change is noted visibly by the human eye. The Hunter system is known as Hunter LAB. He gave it the name LAB, and the world today knows it as Hunter LAB. In the 40s, David McAdams was asked by the Kodak company to identify, in terms of these classification numbers, which they have, to identify Kodak yellow. In his research, McAdams made some modifications to the Hunter LAB system. Then in 1988, Roderick MacDonald came up with a system that also aligned with McAdams, but with the use of computers. He used computer models, and he discovered how to make color identification align based on human perception. And that's what we deal with when we're talking about color analysis. Most of these systems, incidentally, are used by industry for people who dye fabrics, leather, and so forth for the fashion industry. And that includes people who make carrying cases for computers. They want to have a precise color, not red, orange, one shade one year and another in the next dye lot. So they're not used, or shouldn't really be used, by color consultants. So not a single one of these systems ever considers warm and cool. That is not part of the color identification system. When a person says, I want red, orange, and they pick out the exact shade that they want, it matches up with a color. And that color is never identified as warm or cool. It doesn't seem to be important to the industry. So, it is identified by hue, which is the shade of color, by value, how light or dark that orange red might be, for example, and then it's chroma, whether it's a dusky muted version with low chroma or a very high sparkling clear high chroma. So it's not a useful tool for image consultants at all. It never talks about warm and cool, and that's the most important factor of all. A lot of image consultants think that you can wear warm and cool colors. You can't wear warm and cool colors successfully. That's what I've discovered in over 30 years of in-depth research and dealing with probably 25 to 30 different nationalities. So, if a system were designed to designate the point at which a warm pink becomes a cool pink, it could be very helpful for image consultants. But none of these companies, including Pantone, that identify colors, ever talk about warm and cool. Now I'm going to show you a color wheel I bought many years ago at the W.A.I.C convention in San Francisco, probably 10 years ago. And here it is. What I want you to notice is that the color on the top says red, but what you'll notice is as you add white, it appears to turn into orange tones, and the final color, the pale, pale version, is a peach. This is an inaccurate description and visual display of red. When you add white to the color wheel red, it should be watered down to pink. There is no representation of pink on this very horrible, I would say, color wheel. There's no pink at all. Peach should be the watered down version of the one color that you see on this side, red-orange, and that actually waters down to peach. So I have heard image consultants say that the color wheel red is a warm red. It is not. It is a cool red. By the way, there's no such thing as a neutral color. As I say many, many times in my diploma course, it's like being a little bit pregnant, or almost, or nearly. You are or you are not. There's no point in calling a color neutral. The thing to do is to train your eye, or to know how to test when that red with a drop of yellow becomes a red-orange, or any shade of it, from, as the Munsell system, the light colors with 0 up here and down to 10 with the darkest version. So I'm concerned a lot with chroma, whether or not a color is clear and bright, or if it's muted. Yes, because it goes from summer to winter. Summer is a bright season, bright blue skies, bright swimming pools, and winter is a time of grayness. So in the term chroma, when a color lacks chroma, it is very often a winter color. And when it is high chroma, like true red, royal blue, emerald green, it is a summer color. Both are cool categories. One is muted and one is clear. So the terminology is used and should be used by color consultants, but the Munsell system and all of the others cannot tell you whether or not you're from one season or the other, because it has no indication of warm and cool. It could help you when you're shopping if you had a nice color chart from any of these companies and they also identify the colors as warm and cool. You could pull it out and say, I'm a summer, for example, I wear bright, cool colors. Let's take a look at this pink and see where it turns warm, and then it's a hot pink with yellow undertones, and it won't make me look good. So the Munsell system has been superseded. It is not the most reliable because it does not relate to how we, with the human eye, perceive colors and notice, for example, when it becomes warm and cool, or when that Kodak yellow is not maybe from a precise pen dot, as the researcher discovered, but an elliptical sort of color category. And Munsell was a little bit more tight at a certain color range. It's not possible for me to tell you about the entire course that I took, but I can tell you with certainty that the Munsell system today is not regarded as the most accurate for identifying